Hi, Melissa. This is Michelle, and I've been working on your tarot reading most of the day today. The question I asked the cards was, should Melissa take all of her classes at the new school? Um, so it was kind of like a resounding yes, you should. Just as an overview of everything. Apparently you should. Like logic tells me you should, take your classes at the cheaper school and then transfer to the more expensive school, but the cards say differently. So, I'm just going to tell you what the cards say, and we're going to start out with the sun. The sun card is in position 1 here. And this position represents the potential or beginning and promise of the situation. Drawing the sun and having it land here is very lucky. I would say that it's the luckiest card you could probably draw for this situation. It represents our health and our vitality. 1 plus 9 equals 10, and 10 can be reduced to 1. So this would indicate a potential ending or situation completing in regard to the number 10 and a new beginning coming for you at the same time, because this is a yes or no question and the sun is the first card pulled. So the answer is yes. Um, the sun card is one that tells you happiness is on the way, so you have to let go of your fear and any negative feelings you may have surrounding the question and know that everything is going to work out just fine. But we have to remember happiness is fleeting and it is unsustainable. It comes and it goes as it pleases, but keeping that in mind, this is a card of assurance that tells you to take the leap. And in Tarot for Dummies, one of my most favorite tarot books, seriously, don't laugh. It's very, very good, and I highly recommend it. It straight up says success is indicated in areas of education. In the second position here, we have the Ace of Wands, and this position shows us that the nature of the choice you're being faced with and the experience of the situation itself. And so aces always represent a new beginning or opportunity. The Ace of Wands is a creative, enthusiastic, courageous energy, and it shows us where potential lies. Or aces show us where potential lies. I should rephrase that. Wands indicate to us where our ambitions, willpower, motivations, and desires lay. And aces are where we find the promise of the seeds we are planting for the future. So, to me personally, this card is showing me that you are excited and you desire to make a change and go to the new school. This card will typically show the client choosing to go in a new direction. It's a birth or a new beginning of sometimes that's in the work or some kind that's in the works, and it's going to be great. The situation has potential to be long lasting and make it far into the future if you keep watering the seed. If you can hear my obnoxious children screaming in the background, I apologize. It's very hard to keep them quiet on a Saturday. So in position 3 here, we have the King of Wands reversed, and the third position represents our expression or understanding of the situation or the question at hand. So here we have a king showing us a person who may be male and may be married or committed in a committed relationship. And he would probably be involved in this choice. He may be an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius, as the wands do represent fire signs. However, with your moon being an Aries, in the meaning of this card's position, it could indicate how you're feeling about the question, how you understand the question, or how you naturally respond or express yourself in regard to the situation. Because the King of Wands and an Aries moon can be very determined and strong-willed, this may be a situation you already have your mind made up about. Although you're very tolerant to the input of others, you may feel fiercely independent about this choice and very right about the direction that you have chosen or the direction you are leaning towards choosing. Just beware of coming off as arrogant to any men in your life, like your partner or a father figure and older males who may have an opinion regarding this situation. Some tarot readers would say that the King of Wands reversed may show low self-esteem, lack of energy or focus surrounding getting things done. Um, so, maybe you're like, oh gosh, I do not want to fill out all that paperwork. Maybe there is a deep-seated feeling of insecurity surrounding making this change. The King of Wands can also represent a small roadblock to success at this time, a little bump in the road that you need to detour to get around. So remember, we want you to be the King of Wands upright, and he always goes after what he truly feels passionate about. And if you are confused at this time, it's a great time to get up, go outside, get outdoors and hike, spend time with children or animals, as that is what the King of Wands is said to enjoy doing. In position 4, we have the King of Cups reversed. Position 4 shows us the basis or foundation of the question. It shows us how stable the situation is going to be, or how stable the choice is. Kings themselves represent stability, and when we find them upright, it shows a stable situation, but reversed, we might find that the situation's still a bit up in the air and there's nothing too tangible or solid as far as a decision regarding this question goes. This card can represent a man who is a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. He can represent our emotional self-control, our emotional standing surrounding the question. It's possible the King of Cups would rule your partner, as you do have a Cancer descendant or 7th house cusp, if you don't know what a descendant is. So with this card, we might suspect that your emotions are a little turbulent, or being tossed around somewhat by someone or just this situation in general. And it can cause unsteady conditions that bring about emotional upheavals if you find yourself getting too stressed, or someone else, likely a man who has strong feelings about the choice, becomes stressed. You might feel that your home or family life is really unstable right now, and that somehow that's impacting your decision regarding school. There may be some emotional issue that you need to face that you would prefer not to, and it may be standing in your way of making this decision because you just don't feel up to dealing with it. You prefer to withdraw, maybe be reclusive, and avoid any emotional situations that are possibly blocking you. I suggest handling this issue or this other person's issue before you proceed and make a choice, because it could make getting an education harder if you find yourself focusing on negative or stressful situations. This card can also represent someone that's keeping a secret, so don't keep any secrets at this time or surrounding this situation. Try not to emotionally manipulate or allow anyone else to emotionally manipulate you, because that could occur and it could cause some serious collateral damage regarding the situation or question. In position 5, we have the Page or the Two of Pentacles reversed. And in this position, we are going to find out what kind of challenges or problems surround the question, the circumstances that we may have to deal with in order to meet a goal, or conclude the question. So twos represent choices, wisdom, experience, and relationships. Pentacles represent stability, resources, and how we use them. The earthly realm, the home, what makes us feel physically nurtured, and money. When we put it all together, it seems to say that relationships, money, and choices come to the forefront. In order to succeed, you will need to learn to juggle and adapt like the man in the card is doing. In order not to drop the pentacles, he has to ignore the turbulent waves and situations that are behind him. Sometimes this is a card that might indicate like problems in the past, because as you can see, like the turbulent waves and the ship that's being tossed around, that's all behind him now. But anyway, so these could be problems from the past. They could be problems from the present. But, In order to succeed, you got to learn to juggle and adapt. In order to not drop the pentacles, he has to ignore the turbulent waves or situations. And you have to be able to do the same in order to make this choice. Maybe you might have a lot on your mind right now, and this is not the only situation in your life that you're being faced with. Maybe you have to make the leap and make sure that you're able to give this situation the full focus it will require. Oh, wait, you should, before you make the leap, make sure you can give this situation the focus it requires. Because it's a reverse card, it could show you having way too much going on at this time or having too many irons on the fire. It's always wise to double check your finances and go with the cheapest option and save as much money as you can with this card. Another thing that may come up is negative information surrounding one of the schools you're looking into. So I really encourage you to do your research before you make a solid decision. Stay organized, think ahead, and if you must drop one of the pentacles or put a situation on the back burner in order to achieve one thing, remember that is better than not being able to achieve either things. It's better than dropping both of the pentacles. So over here in the 6th position, we have the 5 of Pentacles, which is a really negative card. Upright, it can bring about homelessness. It can bring about a lack of assistance, poverty. It's, this position, though, shows us how we integrate this situation or question into our lives. It shows us how to solve any problems that might be coming up or what we might have to go through. It is the good advice we've been waiting for and do or don't want to hear. It shows us how and where to find assistance and what that assistance may be. Unfortunately, 5s do represent crisis points, challenges, and severity that transforms us. And again, Pentacles represent money, things we use on an earthly plane, such as food, movable goods, and our finances. And upright, like I was saying, this is a card of great financial difficulty. And if it was upright, it would warn us that maybe you would overextend yourself financially and it could lead you to poverty later on down the road, but it's reversed. So there is help available for you if you do want to take all your classes at the new school. There's help out there. You just have to find it. Excuse me. So the outcome is the Hierophant in position 7. And this position is the answer to the question. It's the wise advice. It's whether or not there's going to be victory in the cards for you as far as doing what you really want to do goes. And the number 5 has emerged a few times in this reading. And as we've discussed, it's a very tough number and it can represent challenges that lay in our path. The Hierophant is represented by the number 5. Usually these challenges, when they're associated with the major arcana, are unforeseen. They're not in our control. They're not easy to change, and often they pave a path we were not expecting to have to walk or didn't want to take. The Hierophant represents our belief systems, what we're taught, what we have faith in. Surprisingly, it rules education as well, public education. But in your case, it's reversed. So this, this kind of goes to show that like what's good for everybody else isn't good for you. The Hierophant rules, public education. He's the government. He's the guy who makes the rules and we just follow him whether we want to or not because he's the one in charge. We do it because we have to. We have no choice. His word's the law. He is about limiting risk and he advises us to pick the most secure path, which is always his path. Often when this card is upright, It can lead us to a point where we're only stuck with more questions in the end. Um, he can indicate that maybe you're seeking acceptance or approval from the public or society when he's upright. So we have to ask, you know, what's best for you, not everybody else. You have to go ahead and uh, do what's best for you, which is probably going to be switching to the new school from what I understand. But, it's not really about what I think. It's about how you take this reading and what it means to you because, um, you know, it looks like maybe you have some other stuff you're dealing with that impacts this question for you. So, like I was saying though, when you get the Hierophant reversed, that's a sign, blaze your own path, do what you want. Don't go by the law, don't go by the book. Go your own way. Do what's best for you.